To construct a pattern that can be used to cut and sew your design, you'll need the right equipment, tools, materials and stationery. In the next few minutes I will take you through these essentials or basics that I use and are required to successfully accomplish a pattern and garment that you have designed. At the end, I will suggest where you can find them to buy them. Starting with the equipment, you'll need a dummy or a person that is of size 10 or 12. Then you'll need a leaf folding table that can be extended about 140 centimetres in length. Here's a table that I currently use, but if you have enough room in your studio, you can buy a one-piece table about 140 centimetres in length and 80 centimetres in width, which does not need to be folded. Then you need a measuring tape with double sides, one in centimetres and the other in inches. You need pattern making paper. The spot dot cross is ideal for making patterns, and this comes in a roll or sometimes is sold per metre. To sew your garment, you'll need a domestic sewing machine. I personally use the Brother Band, but there are other similar and very good ones such as Singer. The sewing machine has settings for different types of stitches, such as making buttonholes, which comes in handy when making your garment. Lastly, you need an ironing board so you can place your garment and iron it to smooth out any crushed lines or creases. I always use a silicone iron rest where I place my iron safely. In addition to the iron, you can get a shoe cover for the bottom of the iron. The shoe cover will protect the fabric you are ironing from possible damages if the iron is too hot. The shoe cover will allow you to use the highest temperature that can produce steam even on polyester fabric, such as a net curtain. It has a protective roll and prevents the particles from the fabric to stick directly on the bottom of the iron. So here is the silicone iron rest. And here is the iron shoe cover that we'll be putting on the bottom of the iron. So you're going to want to pull the metal spring up and over the iron to secure it in place. Now that the shoe cover is secured, we can safely put it to the silicone iron rest, where we don't have to worry about it. As part of the tools needed, here are the ones that I use that help me construct a pattern, cut the sample and then sew it. Scissors can be any good scissor that you decide to use only to cut the pattern making paper. Fabric scissors, on the other hand, is a special one that you will use to cut fabric only and not paper at all. If it is used on paper, then it can be damaged and you'll find it harder to cut your garment before sewing it. Fabric or thread clipper will help you slit into the fabric slightly or just use it to cut the threads from sewing. It can be quite handy. The tracing wheel is useful when you need to trace specific parts of the patterns or even the entire pattern. And the Shobin fashion curve will allow you to draw smooth lines when constructing the pattern and adding seam allowances. Other necessary tools are presented here. The pattern paper notcher is useful to make the cut into notches, so you can clip the fabric around a pattern sample wherever there are marks for darts, seam allowances, folds or any other elements that are integrated into the pattern. The large push pins help to mark the end of darts on a sample through the pattern by pushing it through. Like large push pins, normal pins are used mostly when cutting the sample garment and sewing. Lastly, the cutting mat is absolutely necessary when tracing. This will help your table not be damaged by the tracing. The calico fabric is a good rough draft to see if your pattern works. You can cut the sample in calico, make the adjustments needed and then translate these changes into the final pattern. The main stationery are as shown here, and this is what I use in general. To draw the patterns, you need a HB or a 3H pencil. Ideally a 3H because it draws a smooth line that can be erased easily without leaving marks. However, a HB forms a more visible pencil line, and this is the ones that I use for my patterns. Of course, you need to sharpen the pencil or erase the mistakes, so you will need a sharpener and a rubber. Personally, I use a notebook to keep record of the design, pattern number, measurements, and any other features that are specific to a design. As well as, you will obviously need a pen to take notes of the measurements and annotate the pattern. Here's my notebook where I record the main measurements and other features, such as sewing instructions that I will apply when sewing the garment. You can also add the name of the client for which you are making the garment so you know their measurements in the future. To find the listed equipment, tools, materials and stationery, you can go to any of these websites, so Essential, Amazon, eBay, or if those don't work out, you can always go to a haberdashery shop near you.